Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 312, and today we're going to be doing battle with Tryndamere, Trundle, Udyr, Sivir, Nasus Action. And so, if you missed that, you said, Bust, what is that? What are you doing today? Well, I'll repeat it. We're going to be playing Tryndamere, Trundle, Udyr, Sivir, Nasus Action. And so, of course, you've probably figured out at this point we're going to be taking advantage of the Priestess of the Desert Light. This is a card that was added to the game in the 4.2 patch, and it says that at the round start, you deal 4 damage to it, then you draw a champion. But if your deck started with 6 different champions in it, you get to summon that champion instead. And so, as you could imagine, turn after turn of summoning a free champion to the board is a fantastic way to both get value and close out the game. But if we're going to stop and be realistic, we have to analyze this card in a way that things may likely happen. And so if we just play the champion, assume that it's going to die when it takes the 4 damage, and we get a fresh champion, is that a good deal? And then you have to say probably not, right? We're breaking even on mana with Nasus, we're getting a bonus 2 mana with Tryndamere, but as far as the rest of our champions go, we're actually losing out on mana. So that doesn't sound like a particularly good or strong deal. But if this is able to, say, survive for 2 turns, or if it's able to come down, summon a champion, and then trade with something else, that's not the worst deal that you can do. But if you need to pull that off, if you're looking for ways to have the Priestess summon, and then do something after the fact, you're going to have to find some ways to give it the bonus health. And so the first and foremost, the most common way that you're going to find this unit getting bonus health is with the Spirits Unleashed. This is a fantastic Freylord card. I really like it in this style of deck because it's just good on its own, right? It's good with all of our units. It's good with all of our cards. It can deal some damage to the opponent. It might get to clear out an opposing unit with only 1 health. Lots of great value that comes out of the Spirits Unleashed. And if we play it before the Priestess, then she comes down with 5 health. She's going to survive into the next turn and then potentially summon 2 champions or trade away with another unit. Card number 2, in the similar vein, is going to be the Darkened Spear, just another all-around good card. It can be played early, it can be played late as Anaka. It works fantastically on any of our units. It's not a card that is just kind of completely dedicated to the Priestess. It's good completely across the board. And so I'm a big fan of these bonus stat cards, right? We're playing the Spirits Unleashed, the Darkened Spear. We're also playing Omen Hawk, so we have a lot of just naturally good ways to highlight the Priestess. But the best we're going to get out of any of these cards is 2 activations, right? So we make the Priestess a 5/5. She gets 1 activation, falls to 1 health. Next turn, she gets the other activation and dies. It would be pretty cool if she just survived throughout the entirety of the game, right? And that's where we're going to find some usage out of the stance swaps. So we have Inner Beast and we have Vulpine Wanderer in the deck to come out and generate the stance swaps. If we put the +0/+2 regenerate stance onto the Priestess of Desert Light, then she should just survive inevitably, allowing us to summon 6 champions out of our deck. Right? There's no way the game is going to go 6 turns of summons, but in the event that it does, she would have the ability to do so with the strength of the regenerate stance. But in the same vein of these other cards we've been talking about, the stances have a lot of usefulness, a lot of kind of side combos with everything throughout the course of the deck. And so it's a target for action. You can give Sivir Overwhelm. You just have card after card after card that you could use with the stance swaps to where it's not a card that we are just specifically playing to activate the Priestess. Now, as far as the rest of the deck goes, we tend to just have the good cards package, as you see out of the Freylord decks. We have the Ruthless Raider and the Tusk Speaker and the 2-drop space handling our early game needs. And then we have the pretty standard Freylordian style of interactivity with the 2 copies of Three Sisters and 2 copies of Harsh Winds. The other cards I kind of wanted to highlight here is we are playing Siphoning Strike. This gives us an additional way to just boost all of our champions. If we're going to be summoning them out of our deck turn after turn, having the interactivity is great, but also having them be extra strong is double great. And then we're also playing with the Rite of Negations. If we're looking to have these games go late, if it's going to be turn 7 or turn 8 before we get the Priestess online, it'll be turn 9 or turn 10 before our champions are being summoned out. Then we're going to want the counter spells to stop the champion strengths or the buried in the ices or the feel the rushes of the world that are looking to just end the game as soon as you hit that late game stage. And so Excuse me, that's the deck. That's what we're going to be doing battle with today. Let's go ahead and jump on in, see what we can do, see if we can't pull down some victories with the old Priestess. And so now, as I do follow around on the LOR Twitter, I've seen some reports that the Priestess is actually just bugged. And it just summons the champions out of your deck regardless of the deck building requirements. And I can't tell if people are just saying that as memes to try and get people to play this deck, or if it's actually realistically what has happened with the Priestess. But at the end of the day, we're going to assume that you need to be playing the full set of champions, and we're not going to come out here with just some rando Aurelian Soul deck. And so as we jump into battle, we are up against Lurkers, and so I'm willing to hold on to the Spirits Unleashed in this matchup. It's not super strong, but they do have a reasonable package of 1 health units that we might get to spike with the Spirits. Here's a Forsaken Bakai. More importantly is the 1-cost Lurk that has the Fearsome. I must say, the last... There's the 1-coster. The last time I played against Lurk, they did manage to turn 1, play a unit, and then just naturally hit Rek'Sai, and I was super happy about it, let me tell you. I hate this deck so much, and to have that kind of come forth was a real treat, a real gem in the life of Bust, if you will. So hopefully we won't be seeing that today. It's already past turn 1. He hasn't hit that Rek'Sai just yet, and so maybe we'll make it through. But not a bad space here. Oh, and he doesn't have another unit. We should be in pretty good shape now. Got all of the Tusk Speakers ready to come on board and start blocking. We have a pretty big collection of champions hanging out in the hand. I like it. I like it. We're just going to come out and draw all of our expensive champions so that our Priestess doesn't have the opportunity to summon them. Alright, so who do we want to look to use on this upcoming turn? Do we want to go for Trundle or Udyr? There's a reasonable expectation with both, in that Trundle's going to be a little bit more challenging to kill, but Udyr gets us a little bit closer to just ending the game. I'm leaning towards just playing Trundle. As the opponent's lurks are pretty low right now, we should be able to get him into combat and then have him regenerate back some health and maybe get a bit of a 2-for-1, as to where things have a lot of potential to just go wrong with Udyr. Brings in Call the Pack. I feel like opponent just predicted into Pyke and they're trying to figure out how to actually use him. Might be wrong with that, but I'm not going to be entirely surprised to see a Death from Below come in. Hey, there we go. It's too low, right? Does it actually kill our Trundle? Oh, I was thinking that Pyke had 0 health. I see what I did there. Or 0 attack. I was looking at the fish and thinking 3, and then seeing Pyke and thinking 3, and that's why we ended up losing our Trundle. It's not terrible at the end of the day, but we would have certainly preferred that he not die. Alright, let's try and cut down this dum-dum. Alright, Pyke has been removed. Not bad, not bad. Now we do at least get to take a little bit of a bank into these upcoming turns. Maybe we'll find a space to use this Rite of Negation. I guess the question here is, do we want to play Siphoning Strike? And, I mean, probably do. The Udyr getting the strike and getting to pop off with these stance swaps seems pretty good here. So if this pops off, our stance will go to 0 cost. The Udyr will grow +2. And then once he strikes in combat, he can pick up an additional stance swap into hand. Interesting. Now, like he's just clearly trying to hit this lurk, right? He predicted, and now he's played Death from Below onto this shitty board. I think I'm going to play into this. Let's go ahead and just do the ram stance, see if we can't kill off his unit and keep him from attacking here. Like, the thing that's the thing that strikes me as being a problem is if he put like another pike on top of his deck or something. And so, all right, GG, read into that game well. Let's see if we can't continue on our success with the big champion stack. Maybe this will be what pushes us into Masters, right? Gotta pull off a couple more victories here. See if the old account number 2 can't make its way to Masters up against up against all odds with the Priestess of Desert Light. All right, Omen Hawk coming in. It's a tempting block. It's not like we're going to ever get any value out of Omen Hawk in this match, but we'll slow it down just a taste, just a little bit. Maybe it'll get to block like a 5 or a 6 attack later in the game.
Unyielding light.
3/3 Vulpine Wanderer. Sure. Let's get it into battle.
Kip and I will scout ahead. Won't we, Kip?
We'll trade here if he attacks with the 3. If he attacks with everything, we'll probably just block a 2. But he doesn't send anybody in. That seems pretty good for us. Send in the 3s. Getting to the point where we want to start banking a little bit of mana so that we can use our 3 sisters and our stance swaps and the like, but don't need to immediately pop that off. What do you got, Bakai? I guess we could Siphoning Strike. We're getting pretty close to dropping this Nasus and having him as a not 3/3 is a little bit of a perk. Having these really tiny Nasus isn't incredibly exciting. There he goes. He taps out for Leona. And so now we gotta decide, right? Do we want to Siphoning Strike something small just to get it out of the way, or would we prefer to maybe 3 sisters on the round? Because Nasus does suck next turn, right? he's not gonna be pulling off a lot of exciting plays. Maybe we'll just look to do it after combat. So we can get in a Ruthless Raider now and then Siphoning Strike after. I don't think we're going to be playing 3 sisters this turn. Alright, Nasus getting big though. Would we rather save him for next turn as a way to... Well, that's going to be a few turns away if we're going to want to... try and Nasus Siphoning Strike down the Leona. Alright, you getting big, dog. You getting big. Oh, now the Priestess turns up? Man, it's like we have the stance swap, but we don't have the mana to pull all this off. We just need some more time. Ravoon's kind of a pain in the butt. And that, like, dealing with 1 stun a turn isn't that big of a deal, but now that he gets one all over the place, it's a little more annoying.
A sacred guardian fueled by holy light.
I don't think he ever kills us this turn, though. That's the big thing, right? If he chains off a bunch of stuns, and then there's just a good chance we die. But we'll see how this goes. So now, do we want to just give up on all of this sweet value that we can get with the Priestess? Or do we want to just drop it and summon up a champion next turn? That's kind of tough. We're giving up on a lot of mana by not moving into the next turn. Like, we're in this space to where it's pretty decent to just slap the stance swap onto Nasus and have him be a 10/10 and start doing the Nasus thing. But, I mean, the Priestess is what we're here for, right? I think we're stuck just playing it. I think that's it. Opponent shouldn't be able to deal with our Nasus very well. but he's probably just going to get stunned right at the start. Shunpo. Oh, fucking A. Alright. GG. Boo. Alright, well, on to the next one. Shurima was meant to fall. Sad day. Sad day. What do we got now? A little bit of Jace Lux. He's scared. He's scared. Look at all these champions coming down. What do we want to do here? Get rid of the Harsh Wind. Seems okay. Should have time to get the Spirits Unleashed down. What you got for us? Don't really want any of this. I mean, I guess we could look to take the Priestess just as a just so we have it as turn 6 rolls around, but that's a little bit too aggressive for my tastes. You gonna bring in a beam? You gonna thermogenic beam our little dude? that's a strategy. That's a strategy for sure. Action turns up. The thing that worries me about these early games is just getting popped by Shock Blast. I mean, I guess at a certain point we just have to not worry about it. I mean, I think Action's probably good enough to just throw down. And then if he has the Shock Blast next turn for off 6 mana and partially onto a shitty unit like Forsaken Bakai, then it's not that bad. Alright, well we can still attack into the bird. If he blocks Action with the bird, Action will quick attack it down to 1 health, then the 1 health only strikes 1 damage back onto him. So it's not that scary. He's going to need another unit to potentially take down Action. Let's see. Maybe the Spirits Unleashed will pop next turn. It would be cool if we got to play it before he attacks, but say it's probably not going to happen. But even in a space like this, when he takes the double hook, now that we get to follow up with Spirits Unleashed, we still get to clear out his board. Alright, so we'll drop in that Ruthless Raider. Probably going to find ourselves playing Trundle next turn. The Jace Lux shouldn't have too many answers to Trundle. Like, they can Thermogenic Beam Trundle, but outside of that, they probably don't have too many choices. Ooh, that's good, right? Like seeing that beam come down right before we play our Trundle. I like it, at least. Opponent, maybe not so much. These are troll lands.
We can do this.
Alright. What up, Lux? He's eyeballing the Siphoning Strike now. I have to see if he spends any mana at first. Okay. We can take actions. Oh shit, we're 1 damage short of killing Lux with the Siphoning Strike. What a dumb card. What a dumb card. You don't want any... Well, Three Sisters could be decent at this point, but I definitely don't want the units here. Just we're really looking for like high-powered plays at this point. Maybe we do need the utility out of Three Sisters. It's not terrible. Alright, well we got good blocks now. Assume he doesn't attack with Lux. We can get in front of these little dumb Forge Workers if we need to. Doesn't seem terrible. Oh, hang on. That's not how the game works. Siphoning Strike is not what we're wanting to do here.
Time to dance.
Should not have shown that that animation coming forward. Let's see. Maybe he'll try and get real clever now and try to cast big spells onto Trundle. Eh. This is probably a mistake now that he can play a 6-coster and take down Trundle. Well, at least he can't kill them both with the final spark. Probably has to go after Trundle, right? He'll just heal all the damage right back. Okay. Well, a little sloppy, but maybe we'll get the Siphoning Strike in next turn. We can at least protect ourselves with the Three Sisters, and Nasus is just like, LOL, look how big I am. Look how big I am, friends. Got the big dog coming to town. Alright, let's try it now. If he gets too crazy here, we can play the Three Sisters to grow our Nasus up to 10, and then he's going to flip off of the strike itself, which is pretty cool. Alright, get that big dog strike in. Woof woof, motherfucker. Yeah, that's what it's about. Get hyped for the big dog. Sure. Love seeing this guy have to spend like 1,000 spells to take him down. Alright, here's our Priestess. Everything is ready. It's all come together. I think Nasus is, going to start suffering here. He's gonna be taking in the pain, but he knows what he signed up for. It's all right. Get all these cards out of the opposing hand. That sounds like a good deal to me. So what are we gonna do here, right? It's like, as this comes together, the plays start to look like maybe we should Spirits Unleashed and start to take big advantage out of these ice pillars. But I feel like we have to just play the Priestess, and so we'll get her on board. We'll go for the Priestess route this turn and see what we can do.
Now's not a good time.
All right, get a takedown on old Jace. Have our units continue to grow. That Priestess is coming down. Look out, Reggie. Look out, Reggie. We're playing our cards. Oh, man.
If it's a people problem, I'm your man.
All right, Vulpine Wanderer coming in. We got the stance swap combo. Here she comes. Who's she gonna summon? It's got to be a big one, right? We've already played Action and Sivir is in hand. Oh, Udyr bringing in the stances, dropping us down to 0 cost. I appreciate it, my friend. Sunk cost, I love it. I love it. Do we even have any champions left in our deck? Now that we just drew Tryndamere? I don't think we do. Right. A little awkward. Well, you did your job, Priestess. We got you on board. You tried real hard. Definitely appreciate the things you did today.
Just waiting to be found.
We can show off some of these combos, right? We could put an Overwhelm stance on Sivir. Show the world how it works. Hey, Anthony says, I had enough. Had enough of that bust. Get that out of here. Hey, GG. Next battle. What do we got here? Jace Lux Part 2? All right. Everybody's moved away from playing elites. They went and looked at the meta report and said, I see. elites are no longer at the top. It's Jace Lux at the top. I should play that deck instead. I feel you. I feel you. Nobody listening to Bust though. Nobody out here playing playing PNZ Fiora and playing elites with Rite of Negations. Nobody listens except you, fellow viewer. I know what you're battling with out there. It's probably Priestess of Desert Light. All right, let's see how this one goes though. Awkwardish hand. I'm not. It feels like a bit of a bait, right? We got all this like nice early curve stuff, but we don't have any of our real build around kind of cards. We don't have a Spirit Unleashed, don't have an Omen Hawk, we don't have a Darkened Spear. It's like we're just trying to do the good units playing early, but it's not bad. It just doesn't feel very strong. It's not like the best thing we could be doing. Laurent Duelist, I dig it. Go ahead and take the damage. I'd rather get the strike in on the way back so we get to deal the damage to him. Where you at? Ruthless Raider, there you are.
Let's get to work. Not on my work site, bub.
Alright. Get that nice 3 chunk in.
Keep it up.
Do we ever look to Rite of Negation whatever he plays here? Like if he assembly lines, do we have to Rite of Negation it? Feels so bad. Spirit's Unleashed doesn't know. He's got to have a 6 in hand, right? And so his 6s are going to be either the card draw thing, which is whatever. It's going to be assembly line, which if he had, he would have just played. It's going to be a... Wow, you just didn't play it. My mind, people. It's blown. It's blown right now. Got a pretty big crew. It's like I'd prefer to just be getting a Merciless Hunter going this round. Let's do this.
Our eyes.
Vulpine Wanderer to the table. Look to Merciless Hunter, the Broadwing. Oh. Take that back. We'll look to Merciless Hunter, the Jace. We're definitely falling behind on board here, but hopefully we can turn it around. Okay. Some people just don't like dealing damage. I feel you. I feel you. So let's see. We can take a predict. I'm not really interested in additional Forsaken Bakais. None of these cards strike me as being particularly strong here. I wanted to see if we could predict something good to the top and then Omen Hawk it so that we would make our good card even better. But that angle didn't play out.
For me, the spirit's dance.
We need to draw something good. Trundle? That's about as good as we could hope for. Nice to meet you, bro. Let's see if this guy has the beam. We didn't get the preemptive beam baits as we did in the previous game. Let's send him in, see what happens. He's got to be pretty safe. I would imagine if he had a big spell, he would have just dropped it. Jace comes in. Jace, you're about to get blasted again. Your safety has been quite low. It's been quite low. Rip. I keep saying this stuff, and sometimes these people play sharp sight. Like I need to be a little bit more careful in that, assuming that these plays are just happening in our favor. We would have been shut out by a sharp sight in the previous game as well, but it's not something you see a lot of coming out of Jace Lux.
Let the light guide you.
Alright, where's the big Trundle flip? That's good. Getting fairly close to lethal with him. He's going to be like 10 or 11 attack whenever he comes in. Decent board that we have here.
I've been hiding my light too long.
So this is just going to give everybody quick attack, right? Give your allies +2 attack and quick attack. Do we even care? I just don't think we even care. We can wait on a better Rite of Negation. I'm leaning towards stancing this turn, and I'm kind of interested in just dropping it on the Ice Pillar. Is this the kind of thing we really want to give +2/+2? Could give it regenerate, but that feels kind of meh. It's not killing our Trundle. We can put Trundle in front of anything and have him survive. Just add the unit. I don't think we need to stance swap here. What do we do? You want to give it the old 2/2? That can't be right to put the bonus on the pillar. Alright, she killed our 3/2. Alright, I'll block Lux.
Nothing's tougher than a troll.
Drops Trundle to 5 health, and we still have the Rite of Negation in hand. Okay. Oh. I'll see what shenanigan you're up to. See if we regret it. No, just a bad one. Okay. Cool.
Scores to settle, cooks to kill. You know how it is.
No. Nah, no thanks, man. That's the kind of one we're gonna look to drop the Rite of Negation on.
I'll knock 'em dead.
It's only 4 damage on Deluxe, so that's pretty okay.
To dance. This
Alright.
gonna be fun.
We're not completely out of the woods, right? He does have like 1,000,000 cards in his hand, but no denying that we're much stronger on board. Okay. You got something good for us, deck? Make us feel confident in our beast? Could be worse. Oh, did we just die to Albus Pharos? So close. We'll die to any 6-cost spell. What a shitty way to go, man. Come on.
You got a problem?
Come on. Not like this. What a bummer. We played that one so well, too. I guess we could have prevented some of that damage in the early game, right? We did have those turns to where we just passed on a few points of damage so we could deal it on the way back. I mean, it doesn't strike me as being a deck to where we're completely viewing ourselves as being the control, right? It feels like Jace Lux is going to be the control in that match, and so we do want to be pushing in that damage, but everything went so right in that game, man, up to that point. Like, we had the counter spell for his big... the counter spell for his big play, like the exact reason all these cards are in here, and just now with Albus Pharos, I haven't got the video together yet. One of the things I've been working on though is I want to play Dawn and Dusk with Albus Pharos. And so if you don't remember Dawn and Dusk, that's the one that lets you make 2 ephemeral copies of a unit that you already have in play. And so the idea is we're just gonna Dawn and Dusk that Albus Pharos, and then we're gonna hit for about an OTK. So I don't care what you block with, bro. We're just gonna 21 you with our units on board with the Albus ability, and that'll come up to you at some point. That'll definitely be a video before it's all said and done. So you're welcome. You're welcome when that treat hits. All right, let's go ahead and Spirits Unleashed. We get a pretty decent curve after this. I don't think I would prefer to get the units on board. Let's just build up, and then after that, we can curve really hard here. Especially with the Ruthless Raider and Tusk Speaker both having +1/+1 from the Omen Hawk and +1/+1 from the
Getting warmer.
Spirits Unleashed.
The winter's claw strikes.
Then it's about to be Udyr time. One of my favorite times of the day.
I heard the war song in the waves.
Oh, he's playing Viego, isn't he? That took me a second to realize. I was like, the fuck is this Camaveran soldier doing? Ah, he's playing Viego. I suspected that we were just up against the Demacia version. I gotcha. I see what's happening.
Udyr, is that you, old friend?
That's you, old friend. Let's get him, Udyr.
Lovely day for a battle.
Not a bad attack. See if he blocks anything. This is again one of these spots to where we're really considering playing the Priestess next turn. I would say that she's almost 100% gonna come in. But do we want to give up the stance swap just yet? Probably not. I think we want to protect our Tusk Speaker. He's right down here in Vile Feast range, and so I'd prefer him to be a little bit healthier next turn. And then if opponent drops Viego and we get to drop the Priestess, that's fine. We'll get the champion, and then that opens us up to 2 turns from now to generate another stance swap that we can use to put the health thing onto the Priestess. That all strikes me as being pretty cool. Does he ever... There is a very real chance he doesn't attack, right? I would suspect he's going to look to say Steam into Udyr and then Hate Spike, but I could definitely see that going differently. What do we got? We got a big dog. I'm liking this open.
Strong as waves.
Gives us just a couple of angles if he wants to, it's very tough for him to just start coming after the Priestess now. And we have a couple of angles, right? We're getting the new stance from Udyr. We have the 3 sisters in hand to give it +3/+4, and that'll get it to survive another round of the bonus. This is pretty good. Seeing him draw Vengeances in here is kind of nice. It's in the space now to where he can't play any more reactive kind of cards. But I think we want to Rite of Negation this. Just kill off the Omen Hawk. And then we can look to get the stance because Udyr will hit now. Lame. What a lame-o, dude. I thought you were going to be cool, Hoosier, and you're killing off our Priestess. Y'all know what the deal is, though, right? Just some people don't like to have fun. Why wouldn't he let us leave our champion summoning thing on the board? Clearly, just because he doesn't like to have fun. I know. He can attack if he wants. We got the Harsh Winds in hand. So let's go ahead and drop Trundle. Oh, friend. No, thank you. Probably needed just 3 sisters this one. Dang. I was wanting to see the thing just come in. Let us get the giant strike on it, but not quite the case. Alright, so we'll do the old ram stance. Kill off the Hydravine. We can add in a Forsaken Bakai now. Then we're just going to look to open attack next turn. Pick up the Inner Beast. Might as well have a combat trick, right? Boom. Victory achieved. Victory unlocked. Well done, squad. Well done.
With each victory.
Took us a while to figure out what we were playing against. Sometimes it's hard, right? It's hard to realize your opponent's not playing Lucian and they're actually playing Viego. It's tough. It's tough, man. All right, what do we got with this one? Reasonable enough start with the Omen Hawk. The Spirits Unleashed is a little bit tougher against Elite since you don't have the time to do it. If we're in one of these games to where they don't have anything until the third turn, it's not as bad. But if they have a curve early, then it can really suffer. And so we'll hang on to it and see what happens. We're on the odd attacks here, so there is a real chance that we can just pass and maybe pop it off. Especially now, this is really strong if he doesn't have a 2, or if his 2 is Battlesmith, and we get to kill the Ramhound with the Spirits Unleashed on our open on 3. You gotta be real careful when you're making this play. You have the thing to put in front of it, that's fine, but you gotta be really careful with that one.
I heard the war song in the waves.
So we're gonna give up on the Spirits Unleashed. Just go ahead and clear out board where we can. We're not gonna have the time for the value out of it. Ooh, the Omen Hawk landing on the Priestess, though. Okay, okay. That's one way to get the thing rolling. Right.
New recruit reporting in.
Let's see how this goes. We can start to build up towards the Spirits Unleashed now. I'm going to skip over all these. I could see an argument for Siphoning Strike, but we're just not going to have the time to do it. We're setting up a Spirits Unleashed after this turn, and then next turn we'll play the Priestess. Or I'd say 2 turns from now we'll play the Priestess.
I trained for this.
So we'll see how this goes. He did a good job on the second turn of playing around the Spirits Unleashed. We'll see if he does it again. Ranger's Resolve will, of course, be very problematic. But we need to have something go right here. Is he aware of what's happening? He says, "Oof, I better drop in a single combat, you know? Oh, my shit's about to get boomed. I better bring that single combat in." Oh, all right. Well, your shit's about to get boomed. See, this is what I'm talking about when we are in the intro and saying things about Spirits Unleashed. It's a card that's just good against everything, right? It has the power to make our units stronger. We're getting these board clears here. And then it also incidentally works with the Priestess. It's not like it's some kind of combo to where you have to have the Priestess and you have to have the Inner Light for it to be good. And so I really like that aspect to it, to where just all around good against everything. Okay, Garen damage, don't care. Here comes our Priestess. Bigger than Garen, very nice. And then we do have the Inner Beast in hand, and so she's going to take the damage here, but we can look to Inner Beast into the regenerate stance, Boar stance, and have her popping off after that. So the other thing I'm worried about with this round is it is really cool and cute to be able to do that, but if he hits us with Champion Strength, we're going to have a problem. And so I want to make sure we start hanging on to this Harsh Winds mana so we can try and fight through some of this stuff. Like, he's at 10 mana now. If he just drops a unit that we don't care about, then, you know, sure. But yeah, definitely happy to have Harsh Winds behind. We're about to fuck up your day, bro. About to fuck up your day. He just says, "Oh shit, am I gonna waste my rally?" Oh shit. So what we'll look to do here is I want to put Tryndamere in front of Garen, right? He can die, and that's not a problem. And then we're going to Harsh Winds these other 2 units. Now I want to block with the Priestess. She's not going to fully survive into the next turn, but getting a takedown on the unit's pretty good here. Then we'll still get that extra champion next turn.
Gave my all.
Gave it your all, girl. You did good. You did good. Ooh, and now the Rite of Negation. Feeling pretty good about this now. Let's get some stuff on board. We could have looked to stance swap these little birds off, but I think we're going to be able to just get enough units on board. Right? We're not, like, super close to lethal, but I think we can pretty easily match him unit for unit here. Like, if he wants to play a Vanguard Bannerman and we just get to add Sivir, it's not that scary. And we do have the build-up of putting the Overwhelm stance onto Sivir and attacking again next turn.
Blood or gold, I always get my share. Honor is the rust of a
Aight.
dull blade.
Ready for it, bro. We'll wait till next turn. I didn't want to find ourselves to where we played the stance swap and then only had 3 mana. If we only had 3 mana, then we couldn't play Rite of Negation. So I think we're just safe now. Everything's looking good.
Soldiers, to me! To battle!
So should be in pretty good space. We got the double 3 sisters. We can entomb if we need to. We can +3, +4 if we need to. Shouldn't need to do anything, right? We're just smashing and crashing, bringing that thunder right in. GG. All right. So it's been a good set of games so far. We're going to get one more game in. We're getting really close to that hour mark. So we'll play one more. See if we can't have another exciting set of games with the Priestess of Desert Light. She's been pretty good, man. This has been pretty fun. I'm glad we had some of these games to where she's come on board and been extremely relevant, right? We have a lot of games to where, or a lot of decks to where you try to like build around a card, and I don't have the time to just make like 5 hours of games to make sure that I have an hour's worth of games to where she's relevant, and so happy to have her turn up and make some highlight reel plays. She's been pretty good when she's gotten on the board here. All right, the final battle up against Action Varus. What do we got here? Kind of the same deal as before, to where, you know, it's nice to have all of these early game cards, but we need some of our build around stuff. So I'm going to hang on to the Wanderer, hang on to the Ruthless Raider, so we have a little bit of interactivity in the early game, but try and seek out some of our other cards that have a little bit more impact on the early game here.
Beagle shows them where their spells can help.
Lead in with the Wanderer. If we miss out on a point of damage, it kind of sucks, but the Ruthless Raider has a little bit more power.
Greed will turn any man into a monster.
I wonder if Action Varus even has a real way to stop the Priestess stance swap combo. Nothing is like their strikes are all so bad.
Vista Spirit.
Well, with Spirits Unleashed, next turn we want to bank, make sure we have a 3 bank, so when we go into turn 6 we can Priestess and stance swap. But it's easy to forget, it seems, that you have time, right? You don't have to put the stance swap onto the Priestess on the same turn, as long as you've given her +1/+1. And so if she's a 4/4, then yes, you have to do it. But it is kind of nice being in this space to where on turn 6 we can play the Priestess, know that she's going to roll into the next turn and have 1 health. And then on that 1 health turn, you still have the opportunities to play your other cards. It's been pretty cool.
The
So here, they can say this isn't a particularly scary Varus turn. I don't expect too much out of him, but we'll see if he tries to come in and attack. He doesn't. Now we can start popping off, man. Let the combos roll. He just passes. It's so tempting to just pivot away from the Priestess. It's like, if we play the Priestess and he gets to just do his thing for a turn, it doesn't feel very good for us. And so maybe we can bait him into playing some more cards, and we can then try and like siphoning strength down Varus or something. All right, just keep passing. I don't know. It just seems terrible. I'm trying to think of what the makeup of his hand would be to where he's doing stuff like this. This adds in Zolani. It's fairly ignorable. All right. Well, shit just got real, bro. I'm bringing the realness right at you. Let's see. Let's just throw some blocks in. I don't want the Priestess to die. Like, I know that we have these three sisters in hand and we can use them to flash freeze, but it's very easy for this, like, going in front of Varus to go wrong, as to where, say he has, like, the +1/+1 double trick, which is very easy for him to get out of that. Now look at this. Look at this nonsense, right? So much better. Your dude gets fucked up along the way. I dig it. I dig it. Rip Zolani. What are you doing? Oh, you're making our unit die next turn? That's kind of lame. Kind of lame. We got another one in hand, but it's going to be a lot cooler if you stuck around. Look at this. Look at this 4/4 Nasus. You're so intimidating, my friend. You're so intimidating. Let's at least help him grow a little bit. Poor dog. Poor dog. Yeah, that's kind of nasty. It's had all the angles, all the booms to protect the Zolani. And a bit of a bummer. Action of his own. He's just got too much mana to attack into.
I do not break rules, I bend them slightly. This land is ours.
Maybe this turn we'll get something cool happening. Gotta get our Priestess going, man. So we'll see. I think that we're kind of stuck this round playing both Siphoning Strike and Three Sisters. We'll see if he opens on us. Like, if we drop the Siphoning Strike off of Nasus onto Varus and he has the Expansive Shield, it kind of sucks, but it's the only interactivity we have for the turn that's relevant. So I think that's kind of where we're stuck. I guess the other angles, we have 10 mana. We can look to that to be a Flash Freeze plus. Whatever our dude is called, a Flash Freeze plus a Priestess, but tough to tell. He brings the open. Have to assume that we are going to get smashed by Varus this round. There's no real way around it. We try and take down the Zolani. We're going to lose a lot.
Return to dust. You try my patience.
Can't lose our good units along the way. We can hang on to Nasus and then just have to block down the road. How big is our Nasus? Is if we do
Hug it out.
that will take our Nasus to 5. And then we can Inner Beast Nasus up to 6, but if we're going to be real, he's just going to fucking die here, right? There's no way opponent doesn't have another combat trick in his hand. And so let's just give up on our action and give up on our Ruthless Raider. We'll save the Inner Beast in the event that he's going to like Exacti us, and we can still +1/+1 to not die. And then we're just going to count on the Priestess to hopefully carry us through the next round. But this one's not looking good. This is a real problem. Oh, what a lame-o. Fucking people, am I right? Abacash, put him on the list of people that don't like to have fun. Put him right on the list. And so, not a bad set of games. We can pull this up and talk about it a little bit more. And so, like, I wasn't expecting this to be, a real deck. You might find yourself in a world to where this is a real deck in, like, Champions Unlimited, to where you can start to do stuff like, okay, I have to play 6 different champions, but I can play 3 copies of Tryndamere, and I can play 3 copies of, like, Udyr or something. And then you have 10 champions in your deck, but you're stacked 6 up into the expensive ones. And so when you are pulling off your Priestess of the Desert Lights, you aren't really like in that spot to where we had in the earlier game to where we just didn't have any champions left in our deck, or in that spot to where it's summoning Action and Sivir, and they just don't really do anything at that stage of the game. And so I'm kind of okay with it from that viewpoint. You can look to also play just like other champions. You can play like the Renekton's of the world, but I think that playing under the assumption that you're just not going to have your early champions late in the game, right? You've done some work. You want to keep Action in your opening hand where you don't keep Tryndamere. I think it's okay to have some of those kind of cheaper champions along the way. But in terms of the Priestess itself, I felt like this worked fantastically, right? We didn't play the Darkened Spear throughout any of our games. It could probably go, but we also did a really good job of drawing Spirits Unleashed like every single game. And so that kind of makes up for it a little bit, but I think that really showcased what we're trying to pull off here and what can make this potentially good in terms of the Priestess is just having that bonus stat on it. And then your opponent has to come up with an answer, right? And so if we play the Priestess as a 5/5, she gets that guaranteed summon. Your opponent then has to start investing resources into the Priestess, or that second summon on the next turn is probably enough to end the game. And so I think that's kind of like a good viewpoint to take it, in that, we're never getting 3 activations. This thing of putting Regenerate on the Priestess is never really going to be relevant, but finding easy ways to give her bonus health, like just 1 point of bonus health, are extremely critical. And so I have talked quite a bit about the Spirits Unleashed here in some of these recent videos, just due to the decks that we've been playing. And the real power of Spirits Unleashed is that it affects everything, and you don't have to draw it at the exact right time of the game. And so if you look back to us playing, say, Evelyn Demacia, as to where you really want to hit 2 onboard unit boosters, and so you want to hit a Durandi Sculptor and you want to hit a Domination. And then once those are on board, you want to start dropping your Husks. And then once your Husks are on board, you want to start dropping your Evelyns and your Genevieves and your Steams, so that they get that kind of maximum bonus. But if you're in this space to where you don't draw the unit boosters, then you're just kind of stuck playing shitty Husks onto mediocre units, and things don't go exactly right. Or, your opponent can play cards that affect what you do, right? And so if you put those units on the board and then your opponent plays Mystic Shots onto your Domination, then that really slows down the remainder of your engine. But when you're out here playing with things like Spirits Unleashed, you just play it and everything's good from that point forward, right? All of your units from that point forward get the bonus for the remainder of the game. And so if you draw it and play it on turn 3, everything's all peachy, right? Everything the rest of the game is going to have the bonuses. But if we play it on turn 9, then the units on board get the bonus, and then from that point forward, everything is still good. And so if you drew that Durandi Sculptor on turn 9, it's just not going to do fuck all. And so I really kind of like and appreciate the things that the Spirits Unleashed does, in the sense that if you're using it for a build around card, it doesn't matter when you draw it, it's always good. And so I think that's kind of like the real key in thinking about how we're going to activate these Priestess of the Desert Lights, because in the kind of flip side of things, right, if we want to say use Durand Sculptor as our our unit of choice, we're going to play Durand Sculptor into Priestess of the Desert Light. If we draw the Durand Sculptor after the Priestess, it just doesn't really do anything, as to where we can still navigate some of these draws where the Spirits Unleashed gets things done. I guess that's not the proper way to think about it. The proper way to think about it would have been you played the Durand Sculptor and then your opponent Mystic shot it, as opposed to us playing the Spirits Unleashed and then it doesn't matter what the opponent does. Our Priestess is always big enough. And so I think that's the big takeaway from the deck, is if you want to play the Priestess deck, fine. You need to find a way to make her have 5 health. And then once she has 5 health, she's good to go for the rest of the way, because those 2 activations are all that you're going to get. And so I think realistically, your hope for the Priestess is like we had in that Elites game, to where you play the Priestess, she summons a unit, and then you just trade her away. We had better than that because of our flash freezes, but I think that's the way that you're commonly going to see her. As far as the rest of the deck goes, it's kind of whatever. It was all really tied in to playing around the Priestess. If you want to play around the Priestess, go out there and have fun. I think this is the way to do it. If you're looking for a deck to get you to the top of the leaderboard, I don't think this is it. I think you can find better ways to take advantage of the Spirits Unleashed, or if you're looking to use the Darkened Spear, better ways to take advantage of it. But regardless of that, sometimes fun is more important than win rate, and I certainly had fun with this one, and so I hope you did too. Because that is going to do it for us today. And so hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.